I'm Devyani Varaskar, and I'm here to introduce you all with the legend in agrotechnology, Mr. Raj Shekhar Reddy. Reddy sir, I welcome you in Maharashtra's leading channel, Sindhudurga Live.
Namaste.
Sir, the nature is at its peak now. It is raining very good over here, and farmers are really very happy. On this nature's golden occasion, I would like to ask you first how you began your journey of the agro biotechnology.
Yeah, actually, basically, I am from agriculture family. While I was studying, even I used to maintain both agriculture and my education because when I was 6 years old, my father was died. So even from 8th class, I started doing agriculture and going to school also at the same time. So at that time, agriculture became passion to me. So I was very interested to do agriculture and in education both. I was maintained both. So after the completion of my BEd, I got a teacher job in government school, but I was not satisfied with that job. Again, I went to do MBA and completed it. After that, immediately I got a job in agri-based industry. So almost 5-6 years, I did my job as a marketing manager in the same agriculture field as a marketing manager. After that, I started to produce, biotechnology-based products, and I came to know what are the farmers are doing mistake in the fields. So I want to correct up to my level in the fields why these farmers are neglecting microbiological based products and some nutrients, all these things. So I want to correct them. For that, I need to start my own company and I need to go with my own team. So on this base, I started this Pratibha Biotech in 2005.
Okay. Being from a farmer's family, you know all the grievances and all the things
Yeah.
of a farmer. So you began with this and you started this journey ahead. So being a biotechnologist, how can we improve and increase agricultural yield by using this biotechnology?
See, human life and plants life, both are almost similar. Even we also need microbes for our digestion and for our all live activities.
Yes.
Same, even plants also need so many microbes to complete its life cycle.
Yes.
But farmers don't know about these microbes. There are so many lakhs of microbes in the soil. Some are helpful to the plants, some are harmful to the plants. Farmers are using only chemical fertilizers. They are not using any organic manure or organic fertilizers, which are, the food to the all microbes. Microbes usually they use to, for survival or for multiplication, they use carbon, organic carbon. This organic carbon will come from all these organic fertilizers. But the farmers, they are not using organic fertilizers now because of the population of cattle become very less, and there is no availability of farmyard manure also. So that's why all are depending on chemical fertilizers. When the utilization of chemical fertilizers increased, the availability of carbon percentage is decreased year by year. Actually, we need minimum 2 to 2.5% of organic carbon in our soils. But now in our country, that became up to 0.2 to 0.1%, which is very horrible, which is not enough to survival of these all microbes. All helpful microbes depends on carbon. All harmful microbes depends on plants. So every year we are giving food to the harmful bacteria or harmful virus because we are sowing plants, we are sowing seeds, and these harmful microbes, they are getting food. But there the helpful microbes, they are not getting food because there is no organic carbon in the soil. That's the misbalance is going on. So these information, the farmers, they are not having. They know only if we use more chemical fertilizers, we get more yields.
More yield. Yeah.
So in that path they are going. That's why the soils are year by year we are spoiling the soils, and the density is becoming very more, and the oxygen levels are becoming very less.
Yes.
Carbon percentage is day by day it's going on. So in this circumferences, these microbes are unable to survive in our soils, and they are unable to multiply as we want.
Yes.
So again, these biotechnology based companies started isolated soils and got so many biofertilizers and biocontrol agents from the soil. These biofertilizers and biocontrol agents are not artificially created. They are isolated from the soil, which are helpful to the plants, and we are growing in labs in controlled systems, in controlled all conditions.
Yeah.
So because now our soils are not suitable to grow all these microbes in a huge way, because less carbon, heavy density, and heavy pH levels, all these are not suitable for the development of all these microbes. Now we are trying to educate the farmer first to improve the carbon level of soils and to neutralize the pH level of the soil, which has to be between 6.5 to 7.5. If it is more than 7.5 pH level, even again it's very problem to absorb the nutrients from the soil. Or if it is less than 6.5 pH level, again it's also a problem to absorb the nutrients, to uptake the nutrients from the soil. Also, it's very difficult to survive the microbes if the soil pH level is more than 7.5 or less than 6.5.
Yes.
So this information is not with the farmer.
Okay.
Even our agriculture department people also, they are not educating in this way. This is the big problem, and this is the huge gap between farmer and the agriculture science. So we are from our level, we are trying to educate all the farmers, whatever the network we are having, almost in 16 states, we are educating the farmers about the carbon levels, pH levels, and the uses of microbes and everything. So that's why we came in a big way of producing biofertilizers and biocontrol agents, educating the farmers to improve the microbe population in the soil, and to improve the carbon level in the soil, to neutralize the pH level in the soil, how to do what we are doing wrong now and how to correct it.
Yes.
This is the way we are doing.
Okay. More or less the same situation over in Maharashtra only. The farmers are using a lot of chemical fertilizers and only for yield. But beside that, they're not knowing that they are spoiling their soil, and in future they are going to suffer in this by this problem. So this is really very important to educate them, to educate farmers.
Yes.
Sir, what are the significance of micronutrients? Because every farmers is concerned about this micronutrients. What you should say about this?
See, actually, Indian farmer, he is running behind only behind three products. One is nitrogen, second one is phosphorus, third one is potassium. The farmers are mostly investing on these three products only: urea, DAP, potash. But it's not correct. Actually, in plant complete life cycle, it needs 16 elements. 16 elements and divided into 4 categories. First one is essential elements, mean we call them pranadhar mulak. Pranadhar mulak, pranadhar dhatu. It's a carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. These three will participate 90% role in the plant life cycle. But about these 90% role products, farmers doesn't know about these three. They don't know, almost zero knowledge about these three. How much carbon the plant need, how we have to maintain pH level in the soil, and how oxygen helps in the soil to the plants. They don't know. So the farmers leaving 90% products and running towards urea, DAP, and potash. These urea, DAP, potash mean nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. Yeah, these three elements, they have a role of only 5% in the plant life. But farmers spending 100% concentration on these three and spending more money also on these three only.
Okay. Okay.
Again, there are these are primary nutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash.
Okay.
And carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are live elements, and we call them pranadhar dhatu. And the secondary nutrients: calcium, magnesium, sulfur. These are also very important. These three, they play 3% role in the plant life cycle. But most of the farmers, even they are not using these secondary elements also, secondary nutrients: calcium, magnesium, sulfur. Okay. And next, micronutrients. We have 7 micronutrients that plant needs in its life. That's manganese, ferrous, boron, molybdenum, copper, ferrous, and chlorine. So usually we no need to use chlorine. It's usually available in the soil. So no need to apply chlorine. That remaining 6 we have to apply when it needs. So the farmer basically he's not giving importance to these micronutrients and secondary nutrients and live elements. They are giving importance to only 3. That's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. But each and every element has its own role in a plant life. Maybe the quantity different from one element to another element, but it needs. It has an important role. Each and every element. Suppose molybdenum. Molybdenum actually 1 acre needs only 50 to 100 grams. Okay. But it's very important to convert the nitrogen into natural status. Right. If there is molybdenum deficiency in the soil or in the plant, how it converts nitrogen into natural form? It's not possible. When we are using all this urea in more quantity, but what is the use? If there is no conversion from nitrate to nitrite, then how it? What is the use of using urea in more quantity? So this technology even farmer doesn't know. Right. So that's why he is neglecting all these nutrients, and they are using only urea, DAP, potash more than actually what the fields need. Almost 5 to 6 times they are using more quantity urea, DAP, and potash. Yes. Yes. And remaining they are leaving up. Some farmers, very few farmers giving importance to micronutrients. Okay. And some farmers, little bit farmers, secondary elements like calcium, magnesium, sulfur. Okay. Okay. But each and every plant need all these 16 elements. The farmer should know about the importance of all these 16 elements, how to maintain in the soil, and how to apply in various stages, in various quantities. This is the agriculture science. Okay. If this basic knowledge farmer will get, then easily he can get very good yielding. Yeah. Definitely. He never lose anything in that agriculture practice. Definitely. When we are not giving importance to all these 16 elements, so usually the disease resistance will go up. Plant doesn't get enough disease resistance. So in future, plants will get more diseases, and we are unable to control them even sometimes. To find the diseases, it will take much more time, maybe 1 week to 10 days. What is the disease? And to find again a right fungicide, it will take time. The farmers will do trials. Yes. First they use one product. After that, they don't get result, again they will go for one more product. So in this process, they are getting very huge loss.
Hmm.
So the crops are getting affected, and the yieldings are yeah, we are getting very less yieldings.
Yes. Yeah.
So to create disease resistance power in the plants, we have to give all these 16 nutrients to the plant.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's not possible.
Yeah.
So present, this is not happening in agriculture, in Indian agriculture.
Yes.
So that's why farmers are getting very huge losses in agriculture. They don't know why they are getting this much of unknown diseases to the crops. Even see, now we are suffering with corona. It's a pandemic situation. Everybody is saying, even WHO is saying, we have to improve resistance in our body.
Yeah.
So when resistance is sufficient in our body, even corona also doesn't play that much role.
Yes. Definitely.
So same in plant also. If the resistance is there already in the plant, that these diseases doesn't come near to the plant.
Right.
So only farmer, they are using more urea, more DAP. So these are imbalancing the life cycle of plant, and chemical reactions also in the plant are not happening properly.
Yes. Right.
So first of all, these basics farmers should know about all these 16 elements. They have to use properly in the complete crop life. So then they will get good yieldings.
Yeah, definitely. Again here the thing comes that the farmer should get educated by for the significance of these micronutrients. Unless and until they know what are the uses of these micronutrients, they're not going to use those micronutrients in their fields.
Yeah.
Definitely, they should be educated again. Sir, you told us very good on this micronutrients uses. Sir, my next question to you is what are the uses of biochemicals and how they prove to be eco-friendly in respect of chemical fertilizers?
Yeah, see, actually, agrochemicals, they are not targeted ones. If we want to kill one insect, then we use one agrochemical. It kills all the even helpful insects also. There are some helpful insects also in the crops, but when we spray an chemical insecticide or chemical fungicide, then it kills all microbes or all helpful insects also. So that's a big major problem with chemical insecticides or chemical fungicides. But these biotechnology based products or microbial based products, they are targeted products. If we want to kill Chiliotis or Spodoptera, we kill these two only.
Okay.
Remaining others will survive in the field.
Right.
So that too, plants are not, they don't get infected, and there will be no side effects when we use all biotechnology based products. Even cattle field, so after cutting or harvesting, we use waste as a cattle feed.
Yeah.
So when we use these biotechnology based products, even cattle feed are also not polluted.
Okay.
Otherwise, if we use in a huge way of chemical insecticides or chemical fungicides, even the cattle feed also already polluted. So many residues are lying in the cattle feed also.
Yeah.
So that's why even our food, from that, even our food is also polluting with chemical pesticides or chemical fungicides. But these biotechnological based products, they are not harmful to us. They are not harmful to cattle. They are not harmful to even birds also. And they are very eco-friendly. They made for a target, to kill a target pest or to kill a target disease.
Right.
So that's why they are eco-friendly. And chemical insects or chemical fungicides, they are not, of course, immediately we will get result with chemical insects. But at the same time, we are getting so many side effects and huge, pollution in our food.
Yeah.
So many residues are still lying in the food. That's the difference between chemical insects and biotechnological based products.
Right, right. It is something like we are taking allopathic medicine and Ayurvedic medicine. Allopathic medicine
Yeah,
you will get result immediately, and Ayurvedic medicine it will survive for long, but it will give
yeah,
you result slowly. So it is
yeah,
something like that. You talked about Corona, sir. This is a very bad period throughout the world because of this COVID-19.
yeah,
What would you do? What would you suggest to the youngsters who wish to start in agriculture? Because many of the youngsters they are out of from their work, or because of Corona, they have come back to their native places and
yeah,
again
yeah,
want to start farming. So, what would you suggest? What is your address to the youngsters in this situation?
yeah. In this pandemic situation, now everybody looking towards agriculture
Yeah.
because at any cost we need food.
Yes.
This is a primary need for us.
Yes.
So all this, yeah, unemployed guys and everybody who are unable to get jobs and already who lost jobs in this Corona situation,
Yes.
they already went to their villages, their native places, and they are looking, now we have to start agriculture, otherwise there is no survival for us. So this is a good sign to agriculture, but at the same time, these youngsters who are already educated, first they have to learn about this agricultural practice in a good way, and they have to get all the information whatever their parents are doing, having lapses in this agricultural practice, they have to fulfill all this. Then only they will get, good yieldings, good profits in agriculture, and they can make it as a industry.
Yeah.
If they will go in a good way, in a scientific way, definitely agriculture will become an industry. Otherwise, no, now everybody, even a farmer, is not interested to make his kids as a farmer again.
Yeah.
Why? Because he is getting losses.
Yes.
So many years he is unable to get profits. He is unable to enjoy his life. So that's why he don't want to, let his kids to this farming.
Yes.
So now the situation came. The change is inevitable for us. So there is a lot of scope in agriculture. First of all, the newcomers, they have to learn about agriculture practice in a good manner, and they have to get all the information, and they have to start agriculture in a proper way, and that too government has to support them in getting good price,
Yes. Yes.
because farmers are unable to get good price in the market. Even any other manufacturing company, it knows what will be the price they are getting in future after production.
Yes.
But farmer doesn't know. When he is sowing, he don't know what will be the price for his output.
Right.
So it's in dilemma. Suppose, for example, take tomato. Sometimes it will be below 1 rupee. Sometimes it will above 60 rupees.
60 rupees.
This much variation is not a healthy environment to the farmers. We don't need 60 rupees. We don't need 1 rupee. Average price 30 to 40 rupees is a profitable margin for the farmer. It should oscillate between 30 to 40 rupees. Then that will be healthy to a tomato farmer. But it's not happening in our country because there is no control in this farming.
Yeah.
So control farming also needed in our country.
Yeah.
So everybody, when the price rises, everybody running towards that crop. After getting harvesting, though the price will not be same.
Yes.
Again, it is falling down, and the farmers are getting losses.
Yeah.
Take onion also. Even 3-4 months back, onion price was above 100 rupees.
100 rupees.
Now it came down up to 5 rupees.
Yeah.
It's such a bad condition. When it rises to 100 rupees, all farmers going to cultivate onion.
Onion.
So they are getting, we are getting onions more than our demand. So supply is more. Then automatically the price will fall down. So
Yes.
this system will be organized by the government.
Okay.
Not only one state, throughout the country, we have to organize all this in a systematic way. In which state, how many acres we have to cultivate, which crop, everything should be in the control of government. Then only price will farmer will get average price.
Right.
Even consumer also will get good price also.
Yes.
And that too, we have to eliminate between the so many traders are there between consumer and farmer. Almost 4 to 5 levels trading points are there. This should be reduced. Otherwise, the consumer will get high price. The farmer is getting very low price.
Very low. Right.
That's the main drawback in our country. So farmer able to sell his product directly to the consumer. Then only farmer will get good price and the consumer also will get good price. This should be maintained by the governments. Then all the people who are unable to get jobs, so they will come towards agriculture. And even it become to corporate sector. Agriculture also will become into a corporate sector also.
Definitely.
Yeah, that days we are waiting for that. Maybe hope for positive.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. We'll hope for this that agricultural field or agricultural sector will become a part of corporate sector in future. We'll hope and we'll touch our fingers that this will happen very soon in future. Sir, you told very good for the youngsters, but in Maharashtra, many farmers use this Pratima Biotech's products. What would you like to address them? Because just now you told that if onion prices get high, each and every farmer go for the onion to grow. There should be some cropping pattern, I think, throughout the India. So what would you suggest to the people in Maharashtra, to the farmers in Maharashtra?
Yeah, actually, we started our products in Maharashtra almost 12 years back. And year by year, we are getting, good turnovers and we are improving our sales in Maharashtra. Even the farmers also getting very good results throughout by using our products. And see, our motto is concept selling.
Yeah.
Mean information with product. Okay. First information, next product is our priority, and we are doing in this way because agriculture sector need this one. Most probably, many companies they don't give information to the farmers.
Right.
Just they want to sell their products. Anyway, they want to sell it, but we are not doing that. First, we are giving information, complete information to the farmer, and then how to use that product and how he will get the results and everything. We are giving information. Along with information, we are selling the product. That's why we are getting day by day we are getting huge farmers a favor to our company. They are favoring to our company. And to Maharashtra, some areas surrounding Pune, Nasik, and they are very highly educated farmers. Of course, they are also doing some mistakes in maintaining these 16 nutrients, 16 elements of essential elements of plant. Even I went to that place also, organized some meetings also, and educated farmers how to maintain all these elements and soil fertility and everything. So they also impressed very well, and they told me we got very new information from users. Till now we didn't get that information. So if the farmer follow the exact information, it's a very simple knowledge. How to, first of all, he should know how to maintain these 16 elements in the soil. Then everything will be corrected. That's all. Yes. So I would like to say Maharashtra farmers, they are very good intelligence and they are very hardworking farmers. So that too, they are listening very interestedly to us. When we are giving correct information, they are listening very interested. So I would like to say again to the Maharashtra farmers, please follow the basic information, basic steps of agriculture. Then you will get very good results in agriculture. You will get very good profits in agriculture also.
Definitely, definitely. In this regard, are you going to start any wing over here in Maharashtra so that the farmers in Maharashtra will get educated in this manner?
Actually, almost we have nearly 100 above staff in Maharashtra.
Okay.
We have a branch also in Akola. Almost 4 marketing managers and sales officers, field assistants working in the field. So they are also well educated. We have given proper training to them in agriculture practice and how to train a farmer. Even that process also we have given training to them. So all this 100 above team working in fields, and they are giving information to the Maharashtra farmer, and they are getting very good feedback from the farmers. And we are we are getting every year almost thousands of customers where farmers are increasing.
Okay.
Pratibha Biotech consumers are increasing.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely, the service you are giving and the knowledge you are giving to the farmers is really very precious. And definitely, year by year, the farmers will come to Pratibha Biotech and follow your whatever you will give them, and they will definitely increase their yield by using these Pratibha Biotech products. Definitely, sir, on behalf of your very busy schedule, you gave us your very precious time for us and shared your views and vision with the people in Maharashtra. Definitely, the people in Maharashtra will appreciate and follow this in future. I really thank you and appreciate for your cooperation with us, and I thank you once again on behalf of your whole team of our Sindhudurga Live. And really, you gave us revolutionary thoughts to the farmers of Maharashtra. Definitely, they will follow and do this in future. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.